Welcome. Good evening. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. My name is Leticia, and the channel is Blood Moon Oracle. Tonight I'm going to do a reading it's an overall reading. I wanted to give an example of some of the readings that I offer for my services. This is going to be one of them. It is going to be a general reading. It may tap into the energy of those that are tapping in, and so it may resonate. It may not. There may be parts of the reading that does resonate. Take what resonates and don't feel obligated to take what does not or try to make it fit. Okay. But this would be an example of one of the overall readings that I would offer. It's called a zodiac reading. This reading is going to take a look at it's going to examine every part of your life. It's breaking your life down into smaller parts where we take a look at the energy that's coming through for your life in that area. And so I'll be using a couple of different tarot decks, as well as I may go ahead and pull out some oracle. This particular deck is all about information. And so it doesn't really require any oracle. However, depending on what is being asked in the reading, it may, if I'm doing a reading for someone and it calls for a little bit more of a little bit more energy just around the tapping in a little bit deeper, the oracle cards would be very helpful. The tarot cards are, for me, they feel very practical and understanding when we break down, taking a look at what's happening in each area of the life. And so it's called the horoscope layout, not zodiac. It's called the horoscope layout. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led. And let me know if it resonates. Okay. All right. And so as we take a look, one of the things is going through and just kind of pinpointing the energies that will specify what's happening for you in each area of your life. The first area is the persona. Okay. And with the persona, we're taking a look at how you are presenting yourself right now, how others are actually seeing you presenting yourself. And so we'll start there with the persona for you. So for my viewer, what is their persona? How is people viewing them, or how are they presenting themselves right now? Okay, Queen of Cups, which is a very beautiful energy, a pretty big energy. So you're presenting yourself as someone who is very stable and grounded emotionally, so much so that you offer a bit of comfort or assistance for others that may come to you or that may need some kind of help. You could be someone who takes great pride and strives to step in when you see others need help, right? The Queen of Cups is very balanced. This could also say that you are giving off the persona like you have a great sense of love for yourself. You put yourself first when necessary. You know when to pull back. You know when to pour out. Very balanced emotionally, and very balanced when it comes to you versus giving to someone else. When we look at the Queen of Cups, this is in line with someone who may be in professions like guidance, counselors, coaches, doctors, nurses, those that give of themselves to carry and help others, right? The Queen of Cups, or this may be how others are perceiving you as well, okay? But this is the persona that you're giving off right now. I do feel like it's lending more towards self, right? A high sense of self-love. You're being viewed as someone who loves themselves very much so and isn't afraid to put themselves first. You also could be being viewed as someone who is exploring that in a deeper way, like you're taking it to the 10th degree. The fact that you have found this, beautiful self-love, and it can have turned into quite the preoccupation for you. Like you are exploring all these different avenues. And this could be being viewed in a way of like people feeling like you get all of the attention, right? There's something very attractive about you having this deep sense of self-love. And it may cause, you can't help how people view you, but, there's something here about people being a little bit, um, getting their panties in a bunch a little bit when it comes to the type of attention that you get. You could be being viewed as the center of attention, or someone who there's something about you being the most attractive in your group or those that, you would be with. But I feel like it all has to do with how you are experiencing yourself right now, how you want to be perceived, right? As this person who holds themselves in a high value, high esteem. That's what I'm seeing. And so, very good energy. What are your values right now? What values do you carry right now? And we could be talking about your inner values, your intrinsic values. We could be talking about materialistic values as well. What are your values? And we have the Tower coming out. The Tower. And I feel like this could be, because when we look at the Tower, we're looking at like an energy of disruption, sudden change. Your value could be around a sense of peace and stability and groundedness, right? Solid foundations, being unshakable. I feel like, let me just clarify this though, or there's something about you feeling like what's really important is being able to handle anything that comes your way, right? Being like this pillar that stands on a firm foundation. Yeah. That's what I feel like your values are. It says something about you feeling like it's very important to be able to hold your own, right? To be able to stand your ground no matter what happens, to be able to maintain a sense of balance, even when things feel rocky all around you. I feel like there's some value that you hold there. And that could look like, making sure that you have 3 or 4 months worth of bills, put away just in case that something happens, something unexpected. You have a safety net. That could look like having a small, trustworthy group of people that you confide in, right? The larger your crowd, really, it opens the door for more strife many times. I feel like you could be someone that sees a value in a selective few. You could be someone who tries to stay steps ahead of the game. Like when you're on your way to work, it's like, let me leave 10 minutes early because you never know what's going to happen. You like to be early, even if that means arriving like 30 minutes before it starts. You like to expect the unexpected and plan for it. And so for some of you, it feels like this is where your values lie, in being ahead of the game, being prepared for what is to come, because there's this, I feel like there is a sense of loving to feel grounded and stable, loving to be able to have a sense of control when it comes to predicting what's going to happen next. Your value very much could be in kind of being able to control or predict, the situation, even if that means kind of planning ahead, right? And so that could mean spiritually, financially, physically, like in any way that you can think of that. I feel like you are really someone who values stability and peace, because the Tower is anything but, right? And so I feel like you value being able to weather the storms, whatever comes up. You like a sense of control. Let's take a look at what the communication looks like for you. What is communication looking like for you right now? And when we say communicate, we mean just communication all around. This could be in your home, your neighborhood. This could be your communication style with those closest to you, with your siblings, with relatives, people at work, right? It could mean that as well. Let's see here. All right. So we have the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups. I feel like for whoever you are, you have a very interesting way of communicating. You could be someone who is very tapped into things like the psyche, and you know what to say, when to say, trigger points, like the perfect approach, right? So your communication is pretty smooth. I feel like you probably are very good at it. Let me just see for the Knight of Cups. I feel like you have very strong communication when it comes to you knowing what is needed to get the end result that you desire. The communication feels strong. The technique feels strong. And I feel like you are someone who don't have to say a lot. A lot of your communication could come through, for some of you, could come through how you carry yourself, how you communicate, like when you decide to communicate. There's something about the method here that's sticking out with communication. And that could be in any situation, with home, neighbors, work, your significant other. There's something about being very comfortable with your communication and being very successful with getting what it is that you need when you communicate. This might be someone who has studied communication in whatever way, right? There's a method to your communication. I feel like you don't just communicate to be communicating. There's always a goal or end result. There's a method, okay? So you could be viewed as, or you could view yourself as someone who's very equipped and competent when it comes to speaking and translating your thoughts or translating your needs or trying to get someone else to understand something. You're very sharp, skilled. I would even go so far as to say, because it is the King of Cups, this could be someone who has kind of like a silver tongue, someone that's able to even, manipulate when it comes to talking, like a quick salesman, someone that sells something, someone that knows how to talk around a subject that they may not really want to discuss, but they know how to talk around it and, get away from what they're trying to avoid. This is someone who is actually very skilled with communication. Someone who is very patient too. You could be a very good listener. I can't leave that out because communication is really a two-way street. It's not just about you giving. Communication is also receiving. And so there's something here too about being a very good listener. You could be the person that people come to spiel, their issues to. And you just sit and you just listen. You may not even respond. You may just nod, or give 2 words that means like a powerful, 3-page description. And you could say it in 2 words and it's like, it turns light bulbs on in people's heads. But I don't see necessarily a lot of communication, but you are very skilled and you know what to say, when to say, and you listen, not just to reply, but you listen intently. I feel like to really understand and ground in what it is that you're hearing. This feels like someone who has actually done, maybe even taking some communication classes. There's a deep level of understanding here when it comes to communication. And it provides good results. The results that you desire, you get them when you communicate, right? You enter in with a goal in mind. And I feel like the goal is usually very successful for whoever you are. You know how to talk and, dress it up to where it works. Yeah. Next, we're going to take a look at the home environment. And this is taking a look at where you live, like this place that you reside in, how you relate to it, how you feel about it, how your feelings are accentuated when it comes to home. This could also tap into certain impressions that you've received from childhood as well. You could also, sometimes the mother issues will pop up here. So what about your home environment? What is your home environment like? For someone, you're experiencing something new. I have the Fool here. So maybe you just moved, or maybe you have something that you're experiencing for the first time, something different. Maybe you just switched up the furniture, or you moved to a different room in the house, I'm hearing. But there's something new here. There's a switch up here. It could be location. Let's see. Yeah, it could be location. For some of you, you could have just moved with a significant other. You could have just moved with a significant other. But for the most part, I feel like there's this very grounded feeling when it comes to your home environment. It feels like something you value and something you have taken a lot of time and effort to accentuate. You've probably put a lot of your resources into it too, and it shows. I feel like this is for someone who um, likes for their home to represent them, and so there's a lot of effort and time, and maybe even money poured into your home reflecting who you are. It feels like a very rich experience, right? Your home environment. Um, and I'm just seeing like this very eclectic energy. Like you could have pieces from different parts of the world, or just different representations that cause someone to almost like step into another world or another place when they step into your home. There's some type of experience that people are offered when they step into your home. You give them something that they end up walking away with. And you could be someone who actually takes a lot of joy in sending people away with small little gifts. But if it's not that, there's some impression that they get to walk away with when they experience your home. And so for whoever you are, your home environment is one that reflects almost like your inner soul. This is your soul space. This is the space where who you are comes to life, and you feel that. You want that to be felt. You want to feel that. Like this is your soul space, right? And it feels deep. It feels very deep. However that comes across, it doesn't have to be filled with all these expensive things. I just mean that there's time and there's effort. There could be lots of time and different activities, spiritual activities that you do. You know how you can step into someone's place and you can tell that they pray? You can just feel it. Or you step into someone's house and you could tell there's like a value for life when you step into their energy, into their space. You could tell there's just this value for life, you know, whether it's just all of these things that represent life that you can see. But there's this feeling, this energy, right? And so there's something about that. having some type of very rich environment, a rich experience in your environment. Yeah. And for someone, I'm seeing just this place, stepping into the room, and there's just this rich, dark, and bright colors, different hues. I'm seeing lots of plant life. I'm seeing a portal, like a window or some type of opening that will let light in, and it feels warm. I'm seeing lots of reds and browns, like a golden yellow, lots of earth tones, greenery. And so it just feels very lively, and lush is a good word. It feels lush, like quality energy is in, your space. People may very well enjoy being in your space. They may not want to go home, right? You may have to hint around for people to go home because they just feel so good in your space. I get that. That's your home environment. Let's see what kind of creative energies that you are entertaining or that are flowing around you. Creative energies. Ooh, okay. 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles. So right now, what's available could be around you creating a certain type of lifestyle that you have desired, or maybe that you've been working on. You're finally reaching a point where you're able to see this in real time. Whether that's this very healthy, conscious lifestyle, or it could be a very wealthy lifestyle, whichever one. There's an abundance here of something. See all these pentacles everywhere? There's an abundance of something to where you just, everywhere you look, it's there. Let's see. Yeah, the star comes out. And the Two of Cups. So you are manifesting, creating. I feel like you are in the process of creating the life that you have longed for. That could boil down to just having something the way that you've always wanted it to be, right? And you have help doing that for whoever you are. There's a lot of energy that says you have assistance. Now, I can't help but think in terms of having your cake and eat it too. Okay. So you could be someone who has wanted, this certain type of lifestyle that, includes having a certain kind of relationship, having an abundance of everything, having the perfect type of connection and relationship too. Not just any relationship, but one that is in line with what you desire. That could mean like you could have really manifested and created, connections where you see eye to eye with people, where it's not that, envious or jealous type of energy, right? You could be someone who have asked for specific things that you're receiving. It feels like you're manifesting lifestyle, relationship. And this is not just any relationship. You're not manifesting somebody that's here just to entertain you on Saturday night. No, you're manifesting soulmates, people that see you from a soul level. People that understand you because they kind of align with that same energy that you carry. So they understand that. People that connect with your heart and your passion, This could be somebody that could share like-minded ideas about how they want to live life. And now you get to do it and manifest it together, right? There's something about being very creative. For some of you, you could be conceiving and about to, bring forth something very beautiful, the next generation. Ten of Pentacles is about the next generation as well. And you could be doing it in a way that you've always desired. Like sometimes it's the spur of the moment, a Saturday night, oops, right? And sometimes it's like, no, we've been planning this, right? This is something that we've been wanting. This is something that, sometimes you even plan 20, 30 years ahead, right? Before it becomes a reality, you already have the names, you already know what colors you're going to dress them up in and where you guys are going to go, which park you're going to go to, which doctor you want. Like there's so many things that you can do to kind of manifest and prepare for whatever it is that you're planning for. Well, this is coming to life. It's coming to fruition. Creativity is alive and well. And I see lots of opportunities here for self-expression in love and in finances as well. Good health and extended generations. Yeah. So for whoever you are, you could have done the work and now are ready to receive, the gifts or the reward of doing the work and preparing, making space for what it is that you have requested. I feel like the creativity is around that. It's around relationships. It's around having financial stability, a certain kind of job, maybe finally making it to a position that you've desired, or a certain type of a way where you can make money. For some of you, this doesn't have to be a job. It could be running your own business and having it be very lucrative and stable. You've reached that epitome here. You've created it. And so your creative energy is off the chains. It's off the chain, just in the red. And I don't mean that in a way that's saying it's bankrupt. No, it's on fire. The creative energy is good. Okay. Now, when we look at health, work, and service, this is not necessarily about career, but this is more about your day-to-day working environment, your physical and mental health and well-being. We have the Judgment here. And I feel like a part of that, a large part of that, your day-to-day operates in a way that allows you to take advantage of your history, take advantage of your experiences. Even as you move forward, there's a lot that's unfolding for you on a day-to-day basis when it comes to your mental health and your physical health. It's all intertwined. There's like this big working energy that connects you to the lessons of the past as you're moving forward and keeps you like in this grounded, very awakened space, right? The Judgment. Ten of Cups and the Devil. Yeah, it keeps you on your toes so that you don't get too far ahead or too deep into the enjoyment, that you don't forget that, hey, we need to stay cognizant. We need to stay vigilant and aware so that we don't possibly slip back into old destructive ways, right? Yeah. I feel like your health, your work, and your service is all about not just one of those things. As I said, it's like this overall working energy that is multifaceted and that is present, but it's also cognizant of the lessons of the past as you're moving forward. So it's occupying all three spaces at the same time. And though your enjoyment is very high with the Ten of Cups, that's like the epitome of enjoyment, family, fulfillment, like everything that you could desire is at your fingertips. But at the same time, so is, temptation. that thing that will tilt everything over and knock every cup you got off the table. And so there's this fine balance of staying aware and staying on your toes, staying diligent, not to fall asleep at the wheel, right? Because somebody's just waiting right there for you to fall asleep so that they can take over, you know? And so I feel like this is a nice energy that says that um, you work very consciously to, you know, keep yourself open and in a place where you could continue to enjoy what it is that you're creating for yourself. And it doesn't paint a picture. I like this because it doesn't paint a picture of a perfect world, but it paints a picture of someone who's lived, someone who has worked very hard to get to where they are on a day-to-day basis. You didn't just wake up like this. No, you toiled and you labored. You fought some demons to get here. And those very same demons that you fought to get here are waiting for an opportunity to come back in, right? And so there's something here about just being aware and knowing what it cost, right, to get to where you are, and the cost that could easily be taken away by just one wrong decision. You know, it's that simple. One wrong decision. But there's this awareness of that with the judgment. You live your life very consciously of these things. You could be somebody that takes everything to the 10th degree, but you have reason why you do that too. There's a heavy level of understanding that I see coming through this judgment. You could be that person for other people as well. Someone that comes in and kind of blows this horn and wakes everybody up, right? And so from day to day, I do feel like you have a very conscious lifestyle where you're tapped in to what's going on, most definitely yourself, right? And it feels like a very balanced, a good energy when we talk about the well-being and mental health. This is somebody that's aware. And if you're like me, there's sometimes things that you don't get till 10 years later, and you're like, wait a minute, is that what was happening? Right? But you get it. And it turns into kind of like a lesson. Even though you get it late, you're still able to benefit from it because you can apply that to the right now and as you're moving forward, right? You could be someone like that too. But overall, the mental health and the well-being is working. It's working, okay? And I feel like it is definitely keeping you aware. Yeah. What about relationships? What are relationships like for you right now? What are relationships like for you right now? And this could be friends, this could be partnerships. Okay, what came out is the Chariot. I feel like for whoever you are, the Chariot would say that either you are fleeting from your relationships, but the fleeting could be around you feeling empowered, right, to do what's maybe best for you. The Chariot could also say that you are very empowered within those connections, within those relationships. You're very empowered to drive them to where it is that you need them to be. You feel very much a part of them and having a level of control to create or to drive the relationship to where you need it to be. For some of you, you're walking away from relationships and partnerships. That's what the Chariot is. It's moving. For some of you, that could be driving them forward. Okay. Let's see here. Chariot for relationships. And maybe you're also learning when it's time to go, right? It's a thing that we learn at some point in life that not everybody lives forever. Relationships don't live forever. Sometimes they're meant to be in our life for a season. Sometimes it's a very short season. Sometimes it's a lifetime. They get to die by our bedside, but no matter what the circumstances of these relationships or these connections, there's something about accepting when, right, it's time to go, or accepting when they do go, right? That may be part of it as well. When we look at relationships for you, that may be being accentuated here. All right. Yeah, and so I find that when it comes to connections and relationships, this Chariot could be pointing to you moving away from someone or moving away from people, right? In certain situations, in certain circumstances, this Chariot is really giving the energy of being empowered to move, being empowered to move, and having clarity around that as well. But there's something also too about being empowered in the relationships, and being empowered to move the relationships or be effective in the relationship to help people to move forward or to grow, right? There's something about understanding the power that you hold and the reason why you hold that power. It's not just enough to be, a fisherman, right? We can catch fish and we can feed the multitudes, but even more encouraging, even more beneficial than being able to feed the multitude is teaching a man how to fish, giving him the skills to go out there and catch the fish. That's empowerment, right? There's something about this empowerment that you move in and that you spark in your connections or your relationships. This could be something that you're giving. And because you're giving this energy and this knowledge and this sort of empowerment, it is really affecting the relationship and causing them to grow and move forward. The Chariot is a pretty big energy. We might even consider it, the chariots are used for war many times, right? It's that kind of energy, that kind of movement, like equipping someone to be able to move, not just you being able to move, but even the equipping of others. So when it comes to your relationships, you're very valuable. You bring a lot to the table. You bring a lot of information, a lot of skill, a lot of affirming, right? It's almost like you pour what you are, right? And you see that in others. And you affirm that in others, causing them to be empowered in the same way. So your relationships are very much, I feel like they're, for the people that are in connection with you, they are the lucky ones. They're the lucky ones. Whether that's for a month, 2 months, or whether that's for a lifetime, just having connected to you has been the blessing, right? That has been the blessing. You are the blessing in your relationships, I feel like. Yeah. And not everybody will get that. Not everybody will understand that. It's not your job to make them understand, right? We're all given a limited amount of time, and we have to use that time wisely. And so, will there be those that don't? Yeah. Will there be those that try to manipulate and use you? Yeah, it's just human nature. But when it's time to go, it's time. And I feel like I don't have a problem saying, all right, my time is up. Bye. Right? So there's something about that that's very empowering. You are empowering to the relationships that you're invested in. Okay. And then we have transformation. 10 of Cups coming out for transformation. What's transforming in your life right now? This could be around you being able to leave legacies, inner growth, whatever's metamorphosizing, I think that's a word. Whatever's changing or evolving in your life, in you, whatever's regenerating would be shown through the Ten of Cups in this place that we're talking about. Potential extreme change happening right now when it comes to, I feel like your personal life is transforming on a huge level. There's something about your personal life transforming right now, your home life. That could include family. It doesn't have to, but it absolutely could. Let's see. This jumped off the table. Six of Cups, King of Cups, Magician, and the High Priestess. Okay. I'm going to take them because they fell off the table. They jumped off the table. But I feel like this has a lot to do in your personal arena. Like, we're talking about how you are balanced in your personal life. Like, you could absolutely be someone who loves, which I did see that with the Queen of Cups. You're someone who loves, and we're not talking about gender, we're talking about energy. You're someone who is very caring. You're someone who likes to see people have their needs met, right? But what's changing is that you're no longer one-sided on that. You may have existed in a space where you weren't really concerned about whether or not it was reciprocated. That's changing. This is all about reciprocation, right? I feel like you're no longer giving from this very personal, enriched space where there is no reciprocation. You're no longer giving. You're just not doing it. This could even talk about your most intimate relationships, family, right? There's something that's transforming about how you see yourself and your responsibilities to your family, to those closest to you. I feel like it's a good thing because the Six of Pentacles is a balanced card, right? It's a good thing. And we also have the King of Cups, right? We just got to talk about the Queen of Cups. We have the King of Cups, which is all about having a level head, being someone that realizes their value. Like, you're very valuable within the family unit. I can see here within this unit where people would be very close and connected with you, very valuable. And so much so, in the same way that the Queen of Cups is very outwardly invested, so is the King of Cups. He's going to be thinking more about the family than he is himself. He's going to be thinking about how everybody can benefit, how everybody can be blessed, not just him, even though he is, but there's something that wants to share and wants to cause everyone to be taken care of. And so there's a lot of emotional maturity here, but there's also balance and common sense and wisdom that's being utilized here. This is the transformation that's taking place within you. Yeah, you have it to give, but it don't mean that you got to give it just because you have it to give, right? There's some wisdom that is evolving here and coming to the forefront. We also have the Magician and the High Priestess. Many would say that this is like a pair, right? Same energy from different perspectives. The Magician is the master manifester, usually has all of the elements, air, fire, water, earth, has the know-how, has the connection within the earth to actually create and manifest and alchemize whatever needs to be dealt with or situated, right? The High Priestess, same energy, but from a spiritual perspective. She has access to the things behind the veil to utilize that information, right? In the same way, right? And so some would call this a divine pair. But we're talking about the access here. The access here. I feel like part of what's transforming for you is your ability to create, maybe evolving. Maybe it is transforming in a specific way. Okay, sorry about that. I had a call come through and it just totally threw me off. I don't know where I left off. I know I was talking about the magician and the high priestess and how they were um, transforming things for you. You could be tapping into these energies within yourself to be able to change your current situation, which is like unlimited potential. If you ask me, both the high priestess and the magician, that's a high level of potential that you hold to transform things as they are into whatever it is that you would need it to be. This could talk about inner growth that's happening as well, and you tapping into, your ability to even change your legacies. Yeah. And so there's a lot, especially as we're talking about family, like you could be changing the legacies as they are, changing um, the very existence of how your bloodline operates and how things have been situated. You could be changing that, right? There's something that's transforming in this area, and it has a lot to do with family, your connection, how you interact, how you balance yourself within that dynamic, and your ability to change it. The Hierophant and the High Priestess, because you have a higher view or a deeper insight as to what it is with the High Priestess. I feel like that gives you a level of discernment that you're able to operate from that could be very beneficial to looking at things that need to be changed, that would be useful to change, things that may have not worked for the overall benefit of the family. You have the ability to tap in to that energy. I don't know if you're a reader. I don't know if you do spiritual work or manifesting work. I don't know. But there's something about having access to the line, having access to the energy and the information around the line, giving you the ability to change it, right? So that's what I get for transformation, deep levels of transformation happening for you. Now, when it comes to things that you are open to learning, any higher learning taking place, this could be dealing with things like philosophy, education, journeys, paths. So higher learning, what higher learning is taking place for you right now? Temperance. Okay. I feel like this is tapping into the transformation energy. Remember, we talked about alchemizing, turning one thing into something totally different. You may be learning about that for whoever you are. You could be tapped into some type of class, some type of situation where you are being guided and open to learning how to do that. I feel like for whoever you are, this may talk about your being tapped into two different places, like the High Priestess, right? She can see behind the veil. So she kind of has the ability to see both sides simultaneously, right? The Temperance is that way too. Usually it shows 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the ground, which shows this balance between two worlds. It can show the balance between the emotions and, being able to stay grounded in the mental, in your body. But overall, this is about learning, a higher learning or philosophy around alchemy. Mm-hmm. Somebody might be studying alchemy. And that's just a fancy way of saying transforming your current situation, transforming something. And you have lots of help doing it. Again, that energy is coming out again about you being a giver in the past, you being someone that's used to doing and giving, but that's changing with the help of even the ancestry realm, right? You could have some information, or you could be tapped into some stream that gives you a heads up about what needs to be improved, what needs to change, what hasn't worked. And it could be all around how you have dealt with certain situations in the past. There's something about reciprocation, balance is coming in here again. We just talked about that with the transformation, but it's coming out again. This time, not alongside of the magician or the high priestess. This time we're talking about the Wheel of Fortune energy, which is all about that ancestry, having a higher level of assistance at your disposal, maybe those that intervene on your behalf so that you can get this work done. Things being rearranged in your favor, right, to assist you in doing this as well. There's some higher learning about the power and the sources that you have at your disposal. You being one of them, conscious choice. The other is the universe, your creator, your higher self, your ancestors, your archangels, your spirit guides. There's some element of assistance that are rearranging and positioning you to be successful in this. You're learning about that. That's what alchemy is. Alchemy, if I can explain it in how I have understood it to be, in that changing one thing to another, this is not of your own power, but it's tapping into source, right? It's tapping into your higher power and realizing that you have the ability to do this. So this has been something that has been possibly been worked on, maybe attempted in the past, in other lifetimes. Maybe it wasn't successful. Well, it's landed in your plate. It's landed in your plate for you to do. And so there's something about learning, this higher level of learning around alchemy. Changing a situation to something that's going to be beneficial for the whole, for everyone. And it has some heavy, heavy energy coming through about ancestors. You're being given some level of assistance here in what it is that you're doing. And you may be learning that, understanding that. What about your career? What type of worldly achievements or public recognition are you receiving? Okay. Definitely higher learning. You could be, someone who has degrees of sorts. So you have some formal education. You could also be someone who have received kind of like a cultural education, one where you've traveled the world. And because of the extensive travel, you received like an experiential education, right? Or some type of career that you get to embark upon that cause you to be able to travel the world. Part of the career or whatever it is that you're receiving, just world recognition or some type of achievements, is something about your experience, your world experience that you have garnered and made into some type of career. I feel like that's what this is saying. You're recognized as being someone who is positioned because of your experience. Okay. So you're getting some kind of public recognition for what you do. And it could be on a world scale, which is not such a huge concept anymore because of the internet. You could easily become viral worldwide by just posting a simple video about what you know, right? And so this could come across as something that you do that you're receiving world recognition for. You're very popular. You may be famous for it or will be. Okay, we could be speaking present terms or future terms, or we can even be speaking past terms as well. So this is something about your career. You're receiving worldly recognition and achieving things on a world stage. What is this position? I feel like for whoever you are, you're called to the world. You're called to the masses. There's something that you're called to do that empowers others. This is taking me back to that chariot energy where you move and you empower others to move as well. But I feel like you are someone who you could empower others as your career. You could be someone who connects others to their power or connects people together through empowerment as well. You could be someone who has some type of situation career-wise where you utilize your gifts to help others. That's what you do. And you've turned that into a career. You could be someone who recognizes the ability to bring people together and match them. I'm seeing that as well. Match them in love, match their frequencies. There's something about that you do, and it's recognized on kind of like a world scope. So you could be famous. I could be talking to somebody who has, some level of fame for this, for whatever it is that you do. You could do it at on the internet, and it's very popular. You can travel to do this, to give like seminars or some type of empowerment webinars or seminars, something like that. Whoever you are, I feel like you tap into people in a way that has allowed you to be very successful at what you do, and you've created a career out of it, and you've gotten lots of achievements and recognition around that as well. Something about pouring into others, tapping into others, showing others and empowering them, showing them their power. So I'm getting that for a career. I don't know why I'm getting someone who's famous. If you're famous and you're watching, please let me know. Tap in. Okay. But these are definitely world achievements. I feel like your career spans far and wide. So what type of friends are you associating with? Or what type of people do you want to associate with? Friends. Okay, strong people. Could be Leos. You could be attracting lots of Leos right now. But these are people that know who they are, people that are very strong. They don't have to flex to show people who they are. They just have this sense of knowing and this sense of, not having, they know who they are, so they don't have to shout it from the rooftops. They're okay with just knowing, even if nobody else knows, they're okay just knowing who they are. But they also could be people that sometimes people got to mess around and find out. It could be quiet people that you don't know that they notorious until you push the wrong button or you try them. This feels like the type of people that you are desiring to manifest into your life. This could be the type of people that you have in your life already. These Leos type energy, they don't have to be Leos. They could just have Leo type qualities. They could have Leo somewhere in their chart. This could be the energy that the people you're associating with are pulling out of you. I feel like for whoever these people are, they work really hard at being stable and grounded and being really solid in their identity. So much so that when they are faced with opposition, they don't flinch. These are people that could work on inner strength. These are people that are very experienced. You get strong not by just sitting around doing nothing, but by experience. That's how you get strong. So I feel like these are very experienced people that you either desire in your life or you have in your life. People that really inspire the type of energy in you as well. These are people who have wrestled with their demons and came out the victor. These are people who have worked hard to maintain, right, and stay on top of even their own inner battles, right? People who are very aware of themselves. And so the friends that you keep, I feel like is you have a good sense of, you have a good friend picker, is what I feel. Very good friend picker. Solid friend energy. So what hidden fears or worries do you have? Maybe about control, something about control. The Emperor is all about being able to run your own kingdom, being, the head honcho in charge. There's some fear about this, or maybe the fear of being in this position and feeling like you may have to give something or sacrifice yourself in a way to be able to get ahead. But why is this a fear? Let's see. It's a hidden fear. Somebody does not want to assume responsibility or assume leadership because they're afraid it may cost too much. Or they'll have to give more than they're willing to give. That's what I'm hearing. Especially as it pertains to family for someone. This could be father energy as well. Somebody doesn't want to face up to their responsibilities financially. Does somebody have kids that they're not claiming, or they're not really taking full responsibility for fear of having to be financially responsible? Why is this coming out? That's a secret. You got some kids hidden somewhere. Wow. Well, that's sad to come out at the end when everything else was going so good. Well, this is a hidden, this is a secret. This is dealing with hidden fears, or maybe you don't want to have kids for the fact of having to take care of them if something doesn't go right between you and the other parent. This is a secret fear, or you already have them and you don't want to know, you don't want nobody to know you have them for fear of having to take care of them. Yeah. Enough said there. That's the secret energy coming out. And then to wrap it all up, let's see, we're going to take a look at the year ahead, the overall energy that represents the year ahead. Okay, we're about to go into 2026. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like karma is going to be big for you this year. And as we know, karma is not just bad news or something you did bad that's eventually going to come back and bite you in the butt. Karma is good too. Karma is anything. It's just a return of energy. It's a reciprocation, which has been a major theme in your reading here. It's something about reciprocation has been major themes around that you're learning right now. And so this might be a year where you will understand that on a deeper level. And in understanding that, adjust the wheel to your benefit, right? Yes. And whatever that is, it's going to change your situation. We have the Empress, the Sun, and the Five of Coins. There's a change coming in 2026. It could be to your financial flow. It could be to your health, your overall health, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. This could be to your physical reality, how you're experiencing your life. Like there's going to be some change, some major positive change. The sun came out and the Empress, and you are the one initiating this change, right? You're the one initiating this change. The Six of Pentacles came out like 3 or 4 times, which is all about understanding the value and the concept, the principle, really, understanding the principle of reciprocation, right? Understanding where to plug into, not into dry sources that can't reciprocate, because that's going to end up being a desert that just sucks all of the life out of you, but finding viable sources, viable connections to plug into that's going to be able to reciprocate back. Okay. I feel like that's huge. The fact that the Pentacles come out, this is some type of resource that's going to be huge in 2026. The tables are shifting for you. And you'll know this is for you because this is an energy that you're already in. It's going to be more of that in 2026. More of things turning around in your favor. More of you getting more assistance from like the ancestors and from spirit, from the universe, from the powers that be, essentially, from your archangels, right? More assistance in that way. More of you being able to really empower others as well. And reciprocating that. There's some joy that will be returned. You know, the sun is one of the happiest cards in the deck. It's almost like you can see your carriage coming from afar off, right under the sun. Matter of fact, you are the one that's holding the sun up, right? This all has to do with you being aware and realizing your position here in 2026. It's all about you. It always has been. The higher learning that came out was about you. The higher learning was about you learning about, I'm trying to think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the family and some alchemy around changing how things will move forward from you. It's alchemy, right? Being positioned to be able to make those changes, having all the necessary ingredients, having all of the support that's needed, right? You're learning this in real time, which is your happiness. Like, this is in your hands, basically, is what Spirit is saying. And so 2026, this year ahead, is all about you being in the center and you having this breakthrough, right? About your happiness being in your hands, about this change that's taking place because you have taken on the responsibility, not only for your happiness, but also to position what will flow forward from you to be that as well. It's not just about you. This is about you passing that on and empowering others. So those others that we were talking about in the beginning may in fact be connected to your bloodline. It may in fact be connected to your immediate family, right? Those that are closest to you, I feel like. Those that you may have at one point perceived your responsibility a little bit different, that's what's being shifted, right? We're not fishing for people anymore, but we're teaching them how to fish. We're showing them the power that lies within them to be able to rise up and create for themselves. That's what you've learned, and now you're teaching it. Okay, so this is a beautiful spread. Just an example of, some of the readings that I can tap into for my clients. And so again, this was a general reading. It could resonate. If it does, take it. If it doesn't, don't try to make it fit. It is a general reading, so it's drawing on many different energies that may pass through and watch this, okay? But my name is Letty. That's the reading for the evening. Thank you for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to read. Let me know how you feel. If you need a reading, I'm here. All you have to do is tap in to the comments or shoot me an email, and we'll get together and talk about what it is that you're desiring, okay? Until next time, take care of yourself. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led. Hit that bell so you'll be notified whenever we post new content. And we'll see you next time. Bye.